Welcome back with a smiling face. Links to previous episodes are given in the video description, so don't forget to like, subscribe and share the video. A Mother's Shelter. Episode 2. Chapter 10. I wake to little hands on my face, and to Molly's smiling face. I love her so much, and I stand by my decision. She is meant to be mine. I look at the clock, and it says 7:11 a.m. The games start at 10 a.m., but registration starts at 9:30. They are also having a breakfast buffet at 8:30 a.m. at the pack house, but I'm not going anymore. I want to avoid seeing my mate as much as possible. He doesn't want me and I need to move on, and I don't need to make it harder on myself. I'm still going to games day because I've worked too hard to hide away and not participate. As the second strongest female warrior in this pack, my scores will increase Cold Moon's overall score. I'm going to go, and fight, and run. I'm going to use the pain I feel and turn it into anger to be even better. It's early, so first things first, I take Molly to go change her diaper and get her dressed. I grab the tool bag and take 20 minutes to convert her crib into a toddler bed. I don't want a repeat of last night. Molly and I head down for breakfast and I make some scrambled eggs, toast and I cut up some bananas. "How's my princess this morning?" Lev asks, when he walks into the kitchen. "She's good." Completely unaware of the panic she put us all through last night, I admit, and Lev chuckles and gives Molly a kiss on her forehead. "You're not going to the buffet breakfast," he frowns. "I figured I wouldn't make things harder than they need to be," I say while pushing my eggs around on my plate. "You're still going to the games, right?" he presses. "Definitely. I've worked way too hard to not compete. I love this pack and I'm not going to let them down," I say firmly. "Good. I'm glad. You work too hard to throw it away for someone who doesn't appreciate both of you. So, who was your mate? Was he a warrior?" Lev asks. "I have no idea. I know his name is Jack, and he is big and he looks strong, whoever he is," I respond. "Last name?" he presses and I shrug. "Did you learn anything aside from his first name?" he asks, eyebrows furrowed. I can feel my cheeks turning pink. "Oh gross, Lex," he groans. "The mate bond is intense, okay?" I add with my head down. "Well, I'm going to go to breakfast, and if I happen to come across a Jack, I'll give him a piece of my mind." "Hopefully I get the right Jack," he says with a smirk. "Haha, funny." I smirk. At 9 a.m., I get some high-waisted black leggings, a black sports bra, and an oversized black hoodie on. I'm not wearing any color, because I don't want to stand out at all. I do my hair in 2 French braids to keep my hair out of my face, and I pack a diaper bag for Molly. All the activities are held outside today, and the child care ladies have a nice-sized area fenced off, and they have a dozen people watching the kids, so we can grab our kids if we want in between our events. I pack some water and protein bars in a sling bag for myself. It's 9:30, so I get my trainers on, and Molly and I head out. I drop her off and then flip the hood of my hoodie up, and head to the registration line. The available events are: Women's Fighting Human Form, Men's Fighting Human Form, Women's Wolf Form 300-meter run, Women's Human Form 100-meter run, Men's Human Form 100-meter run, Men's Wolf Form 300-meter run, Men's Log Throw, Women's Log Throw, Beta and Gamma Fighting. I sign up for everything for women, except the log throw. Because of my higher rank as a warrior in our pack, I will skip the first few rounds of fighting. For the runs, we can go in between other events, and they time our score and put it on the leaderboard. At the end, the top 5 compete in one final race. The top 5 in each event are awarded points towards their pack. First place is 30 points, second gets 20, third gets 10, and fourth gets 5 points, and fifth gets 2 points towards their pack. At the end, the packs are ranked and the top 3 packs are posted. It's nothing official or anything. It's just for fun and bragging rights. I look at my watch and it says 9:47 am, so I head towards the 100 human form race. I get in line, and because I am early, there are only 10 people in front of me. I find out they are letting 6 people at a time race, so they can get each person's time. Men and women can run at the same time. They have 2 leaderboards, one for women and one for men. I sit in my spot and stretch. I'm number 11 in line, so I'll go in the second heat. It's finally 10, and the first heat starts. They get ready, and when the whistle blows, 4 men and 2 women take off running. When they are done, we wait for the timekeepers to relay the times, and put them on the board. I pull off my sweater and toss it on top of my bag. In our heat, we have 3 women and 3 men. When the whistle blows, I run. I feel strong and fast. I beat everyone in my heat, even the guys. I'm happy about that. I see my time is 11.03 seconds. My name goes to the number 1 spot in women's. Not that impressive though, because only 5 women have raced so far. 7 men have raced so far, and the number 1 time for men's is 12.68 seconds. Out of these 12, I'm the fastest. It's a good start to the day. I head over to the wolf form races and see Cora on the way. Hey, you. She smirks at me. Hey. I roll my eyes. I know she's acting like this because of the compromising position she found me in last night. I feel a sting inside when I remember how good it felt to be with my mate last night. I'm going to the wolf form race, coming. I ask her. She nods, and we make our way there. When we get there, the lineup is huge. There are probably 80 people in front of us. She mind links me. So was he anyone special? Nope. Just my mate. I frown. Her eyes are wide and her jaw drops. Are you serious? She asks out loud. I nod, but mind link her. Yeah, he followed me to the hospital and I didn't see him, but I heard him when he growled and slammed the door when he left. He's obviously not okay with me having mole, so no one special to me. I shrug and swallow the lump in my throat and she hugs me. I'm so sorry, Lex. At least now I know not to wait for him, I try and say optimistically, but she knows I'm hurting. After nearly an hour, we make it to the front of the line. They wave us to the women's tents, and we walk into the large tent, undress, and shift. For the Wolf 300m run, they have 8 people keeping time. Cora and I are in the same heat, and we get into position with 2 other women and 4 other men. When the whistle blows, I run. I can feel the dirt crushing beneath my paws, and I'm in front of everyone. I see from the corner of my eye a wolf gaining on me, and I push even harder and give it everything I've got. I cross the finish line, and another male wolf is right behind me. Cora came in 3rd place. When we get out of the tent, from changing, we check the leaderboards. I'm first in the women's with a time of 14.4 seconds. Cora is the 4th overall woman with a score of 15.7 seconds. I look to my side and see a very large man looking at the scoreboard. You're really fast, he smiles. Thank you, you too, I smile back. Not fast enough, though, he says and my smile widens. It's almost 11, let's check out the fights, Cora says, and I nod. Jack's point of view. I wake up, and the clock says 8:45 a.m. I didn't get to sleep until really late. I ran for a few hours, and I hunted a bear. I needed to release some aggression. I still feel like my heart is being ripped out, and I have so much rage, but I have decided I need to accept this. She has a family with this guy. I need to keep my distance from her. Why did she kiss me, though, if she was with someone else? It felt like we were magnets. It was probably just really hard to resist. I'll need to find a Luna for my pack that isn't my fated mate. She'll need to be a fierce fighter, and I need to like her. I know I can't be stuck with someone like Sophie for the rest of my life. This would be so much easier if she would have told me, and never let me touch her, and kiss her. I keep thinking of the way she smelled, the way she felt and tasted. Part of me wants to find this Gamma, and kill him. If he's what my mate wants, though, I can't be selfish. She just got carried away with me. I wonder if she told him about us. Breakfast is in 15 minutes and I'm famished. I have a quick shower and get ready. Alphas aren't permitted to participate in any of the games, which sucks, so I don't need any athletic gear on. I throw on some jeans and a black t-shirt. When I came out of my room, my parents were clearly waiting for me. What happened to you last night? Dad asks. I question whether I should tell them. Sophie was really upset that you left, my mom adds. Sophie and I, not going to happen, I say flatly. Why? My mother huffs. Oh, where to start? Her voice is like nails on a chalkboard, and her laugh. Ugh. She's selfish and spoiled, and weak, and not even that attractive. Do you want me bound to someone that I literally can't stand? I ask. Of course not, son. We want you to be happy. You're more alone with a Luna you can't stand than you are single, my dad answers. You should find someone, though, Dad adds. I will. I'm ready, I nod, and it FG hurts. I don't want a match. Not one FG bit. I want her. What changed? Mom presses. I met my mate last night. Both my parents are looking at me with wide eyes. What happened? Dad asks. Well, we had a very amazing 10 minutes together, but then I found out she has a kid and family with someone else. She didn't wait for me. It's time for me to move on, I huff and drag my hands through my hair. Oh Jack, I'm so sorry. I can't even imagine the pain you're feeling, my mom says while hugging me. I'll be fine. It'll just take some time, I tell them. I'm not sure if I believe that, but if I say it enough, maybe someday it'll be true. Let's get some breakfast, I say while walking out the door. I head to the pack house, and I can't help that I'm looking for her. I crave seeing her and smelling her, but she's not here. I see him, though. Her Gamma. He's sitting at Alpha Jet's table. She's not with him, and neither is their daughter. I wonder why he would leave his girls home. Maybe he knows about me and he's trying to keep Lexi away from me? But he looks pretty carefree and happy. That's weird. If she were mine, I wouldn't go to breakfast without her. I'd want her by my side all the time. I eat a full breakfast, and then I need to go for a run again. I have chest pains, and I need to do something or I feel like I'll explode and rip that Gamma's head off. I eat a full breakfast, and then I need to go for a run again. I have chest pains, and I need to do something or I feel like I'll explode and rip that Gamma's head off. When I make it back at around noon, I take another quick shower and force myself to head to Games Day to support my warriors. I train these warriors and I want to be able to cheer them on. If I'm lucky, I won't see my mate. I see a fenced area with kids everywhere and I can smell my mate. Her daughter must be in there. I can't help but make my way to them. Leaning against the chain-linked fence, my eyes search for her. There, I see her little blonde-haired blue-eyed cutie. She's playing in the sandbox with a little girl a few years older. She looks so happy. I can't help but think how she would look if she came from me and Lexi, instead of him and Lexi. I force myself to leave. It hurts too much to think about. I make my way to a crowd of people. I can tell they are doing races in human form. I walk over and take a look at the leaderboards. Men's first place and men's third are both my guys. I smile with pride. Women's first place. Lexi Smith. Is it my Lexi? I feel my heart starting to race. I wasn't expecting her to be a competitor. Her time is 11.03 seconds. That's fast. I stare at first place for a minute before I remember I'm supposed to be checking how my pack did. I scan down the list and third and fifth are from my pack. I head to the next station, the wolf form races. I check the women's first this time, wondering if I'll see Lexi's name on the board again. Sure enough, first place, Lexi Smith. It feels like a knife to the chest. I hope she's not a warrior. I don't think I could bear it if she was everything that I ever wanted. I've always thought my mate would be weak, just like my mother. I thought if I couldn't have my fated mate, at least my Luna would be a strong fighter. I make my way to the log throws, and I don't see her name on the board. I'm relieved. I head to the fighting area, where 4 matches are going on at the same time. 2 men's and 2 women's. I can smell her. I see the board and I don't see her name anywhere, and relief floods my body. She's probably just a strong runner. She's not that big either, so my heart is probably safe from being completely ripped to shreds. I see Zach and Kyle on the bleachers, watching the fights, so I join them. How are you doing? Your mom told us about your mate, Zach confesses. Of course she did. I roll my eyes. I'm fine, I lie to them. Let's find you a badass warrior, Luna, yeah? Kyle adds. I chuckle and nod. After watching for 45 minutes, the crowd is notified. The men and women that have made it this far are moving forward and will now be competing against the top-ranked fighters of each pack. This is where things get interesting, I admit. And then I smell her again. She's closer than she was before. I see a woman make her way to the ring. She has her hair in a bun, and she looks like she's strong and athletic. She's in blue leggings and a blue sports bra. Then I see a woman in an oversized black hoodie with her hood on and carrying a small backpack. She walks confidently towards the other woman. She tosses her bag and slips off her shoes. She pulls off her hoodie, and I see she has 2 French braids, and she's wearing black leggings and a black sports bra. I see her perfect body. It's her. She's one of their top fighters? What? She's hot, Zach says. I growl, and give him a death glare. The fight starts and Lexi looks confident and the fight is very quick. She tried to punch Lexi, and Lexi was super quick, dodging and blocking. Before I know it, the other girl is thrown onto her back and she has the wind knocked out of her. Lexi doesn't get on top. She just stands there and waits. Sure enough, 10 seconds go by and the girl's still lying there seeing stars, and trying to catch her breath. As soon as the fight is called, Lexi helps her opponent up. I can see on the board they are not from the same pack. She's just being nice. Why does she have to be so perfect? That was badass. Dude, seriously. If you don't go after that one, I will, Kyle tells me while staring at her and smiling. Lexi slips on her shoes and hoodie and grabs her bag. She starts to walk away, and then she sees me. Our eyes lock for a moment, and I tell myself to look away. It took me an extra second or two longer than I wish it would have, but I mustered the strength to look away from her. Kyle looks at me. If you don't want her, I'm going, he says while jumping off the bleachers. I grab his arm and yank. Hard. What, man? Don't you dare talk to her. That's her, I rasp and his eyes widen. I didn't know. Sorry, Jack. She walks over two bleachers and sits down to watch the next fight. Chapter 11. Lexi's point of view. I just finished my first fight, and it was quick and easy. I could smell my mate was close by when I was walking up to fight, but I didn't want to look and see him. I didn't want to know if he was watching. When I was done, I saw him. Our eyes locked, and then he turned away from me. It hurt. It hurt so much. Part of me wants to just get out of here, but the women's fights are getting serious, and I need to see these ladies fight, so I have an idea of what I'll be up against. Soon enough, Joss and Cora find me and sit with me. I'm glad to have the company. We're pointing out different things about different fighters to remember, in case we fight against them. Suddenly, Alpha Maximus is standing in front of me and asking to talk with him in private. I follow him, until we're away from everyone. I noticed I'm not fighting with Sophie today, I say. He looks upset. No, everything is called off. After everything you did to help, why did you do it? He asks, looking disgusted. My face must have confusion written all over it because I have no idea what he's talking about. Alpha, what do you mean? And he raises one eyebrow at me. Sophie told me you were kissing Jack last night. You knew he was intended for Sophie. My jaw drops open. What? Wait. I just knew his name was Jack, I didn't know his last name or rank, I explain. You didn't know you were kissing Alpha Jack Lavard. Alpha of the Black Moon is my mate? I assure you, Alpha, I had no idea who he was or what his title was. He's my mate. All I knew was his name was Jack. I didn't even know what pack he was from. It all happened so quickly, and then he found out about Molly, and he's not interested anymore. I'm sorry if I ruined your plans. I had no idea that he was the man we had been training for the last 7 months. I swear. His face softens a little. I'm sorry, I'm sure it's not easy to lose your mate, he states. It's not, but you warned me this could happen. Molly was destined to be mine, so I don't regret her, I assure him. It doesn't make it easy to lose him, does it? He asks and I shake my head. I really am sorry, but he doesn't want me. Maybe there's still an opportunity for Sophie to woo him, I add, even though it hurts me to even say. He shakes his head. No, his parents sat down with me at breakfast and told me that a match wouldn't be made. Maybe she's better off waiting for her mate. I'll let you get back to watching the fights. Make us proud, he concludes. I'll do my best. When I'm walking back to the bleachers, I see that Jack is watching me. It sorta looks like his face contorts in disgust, before he looks away. Just what I needed. What did Maximus want? Joss asks. Just wrapping up old Alpha business, I add. I told Joss earlier about everything that happened last night and she was curious about him. My mate. I found out his name. Jack Lavard. Alpha of Black Moon. He's 2 bleachers over, jeans and a black t-shirt. Don't look at the same time, I whisper. Of course, they both do. He saw us, Joss giggles. I said not at the same time. Oh, he's really hot. I was too distracted to notice last night, Cora states. He is, but he's not mine, so it doesn't matter. I say to change the subject. Next up, I see Shelley, a girl that I have taken under my wing the last few months. She's calling me and motioning me over. She's right in front of Jack's bleacher. I don't want to go over there, but I can't refuse her. I rush over. Can you coach me for this fight? She's way bigger than me, she begs. Sure. I agree. Size doesn't mean. You got this. Okay. I say and we smile at each other. The fight starts and Shelley's opponent is probably a better fighter, but I'll do what I can to coach her. I'm yelling technical tips to her, like raise that elbow, drive it harder, bend your knee. All my tips are helping. She's made it 4 minutes into the round. They get a 1-minute break now. I grab Shelley, putting her back to her opponent, and I'm standing in front of her, so she can't see what we're doing. I mind link Shelley, she keeps trying to get you in a position to knee you in the face, but her form sucks. I mimic the position with her. When I say now I want you to grab under that knee and pull as hard as you can while lifting your upper body up. Hard. As hard as you can. I show her where to move her foot, and where to grab. You'll dislocate her hip. She grabs a drink and then the whistle blows. She gets back in the ring, and after a minute she is in that familiar position. The girl wants to knee her in the face. I wait for the perfect moment to give the signal, and finally, I see it. Now! I yell. Shelley does just as I instruct her to, and this girl is on the ground, and hip dislocated. After 10 seconds, the whistle blows and Shelley has won. She is jumping up and down, she's so excited and she jumps in my arms. You were right. Thank you. Thank you, she yells. You're welcome. I chuckle. I make my way back to the girls while avoiding looking in the direction of my mate, even though I can smell his heavenly scent, and I can feel his eyes on me. I can't bear to see him look away or look at me like I disgust him. Cora's walking past me to fight next. Cora wins her fight quite easily. Soon Joss is up. She whoops like it's nothing. Us 3 girls are doing our pack proud so far. I hear on the loudspeaker they are doing finals for races. Race starts in 10 minutes for human run and 30 minutes for wolf form. Top 5 for women in human form. First place, Lexi Smith. Second place, Jocelyn Bonnet. Third place, Laurel Benton. Fourth place, Jen Yuki. Fifth place, June Gray. For women's wolf form, first place Lexi Smith. Second place Laurel Benton. Third place, Star Flint. Fourth place, Jocelyn Bonnet. Fifth place, Jen Yuki. Then they went on to name the guys, but I was so excited that I didn't pay attention. Any fight we have will now be pushed back, so the 3 of us head to the races. I see Jet and Grace on the way, and they're very excited for us. They walk with us to watch us. We have 2 minutes before the race and I grab my phone and earphones. I put on Blow, by Ed Sheeran and Chris Stapleton. It's my pump-up song. I'm doing a little jog on the spot. Getting pumped up, and then I see him. It's so hard to concentrate when I see him. Channel it into rage, I tell myself. I turn my back to him and get in the zone. When Joss nudges me, I pull the headphones and my hoodie off. Everyone's on the line, and when that whistle goes, I'm gone. I run as fast as I can, pushing myself as hard as I can. I'm the first one to cross the line. I head back to the leaderboard, but they're waiting for the guys to go before they post. We all know what place we got, so it seems pointless to me. The guys go next. The guy I beat earlier, James, is up in the lineup. He smiles at me, and I smile back. The whistle goes, and they're off. He got second. After a few minutes, they posted the times for women's and men's. Second place if I include the guys. I'm super happy. I'm always just a little slower than you, James says with a flirty smile, and I smile back. You were close, I tease. I hear a small growl. I turn around and bump into what feels like a brick wall. A delicious-smelling brick wall, that just happens to be my mate. He looks at me with wide eyes and a clenched jaw. Sorry, I squeak, before moving out of his way. I grab my sweater and bag and head to the wolf race with Cora and Joss. That was awkward, Joss points out. When we get to the wolf form race location, the guys are up first this time. They head to the tents and come back as wolves. The whistle goes off, and the wolves take off. I'm not sure which wolf is which, aside from Noah and Marcus. So I'll have to wait for the scores to be posted. The girls head to the tent to undress and shift. We all get on the line, and when the whistle blows, we take off. I give everything I have, pushing as hard as I can. I cross the line first again and it feels great. I make my way back, and head inside the tent to get dressed. The scores are posted. As I'm walking to the board, I see Jack at the board shaking his head. When he sees me he storms off. I take a look at the leaderboard and see the times for women's and men's. Again, so close, I say to James, standing beside me. He gives me a shoulder nudge and chuckles. He's a very attractive guy, not as handsome as my mate, but my mate doesn't want me. It feels wrong to even think about flirting or being with someone else, but I know I'll have to force myself eventually, otherwise I'll be alone forever. From now on, I'm not starting anything unless they know I'm a mother, and they are okay with that. Hey, can you tell me when I'm close to fighting? I want to go see Molly. I ask the girls, and they agree. I feel so anxious and uneasy, I just need a Molly dolly cuddle. I go over to the kids' zone and I see she's having lots of fun with all the other kids. She is playing with little girls a few years older than her. I think they view her as a baby doll. Miss Molly, I say, and she looks up and starts running to me. She missed me. I hold her close and sway with her in my arms as I sing, "You Are My Sunshine" to her. By the time I'm done, I feel so much better. I needed that. She feels heavy in my arms, and I think she's asleep. This has been a long day outside for her without a nap. I ask a little girl if she's sleeping, and she confirms my suspicions. I'll hold her and let her nap on me while I watch the fights. I make my way to the bleachers. Now Grace, Jet, Maximus, Camilla, Joss, Cora, Lev, Eli, and Mila and a few other warriors are all sitting together. I was just about to mind link you. You're up, after this one that's about to start, Cora tells me. Great timing, I groan. I'll hold her while you fight, Grace offers. Thank you. Oh, it's my pleasure. She gushes. I missed the races, first in both, Lex, very impressive, Lev smirks. Why, thank you. It's too bad you guys can't do the races. Do the beta and gamma fights start after the women's and men's are done? I ask. Yeah, me too. And yes, we start when the warriors are done. Have you seen him or figured out who he is yet? Lev asks. I nod and mind link him. Jack Lavard, Alpha of Black Moon. He's close by, I smell him, I confess. Really? That's insane. Not what I was expecting you to say. You'll find someone better for you and Molly. I hand off Molly to Grace and get my music going. Competition is going to be stiffer, I want to pump myself up. The fight ends, and I grab my stuff, and as I get up, everyone is slapping me on the back. Thanks, guys, I say as I make my way up. I recognize the girl as someone who placed in the top 5 for one of the races. Her name is June. I take out my earphones and start putting my shoes, hoodie, and bag in a pile. I can smell my mate, and I wish he wouldn't watch me. I make my way to the ring. The whistle blows, and our fight begins. She doesn't attack me right away. I throw a jab, and she blocks it. I haven't seen her fight, so I don't know what to expect from her. I act as if I'm going to jab, and when she moves, I give her a good right hook. It rang her bell a little bit too. I take this opportunity to charge her, and throw her to the ground. She moves to get up, and I let her. She's still winded and dizzy. I move quickly in and out, using different combinations. She's not doing a good job of blocking because she still hasn't recovered from the previous blows. I kick her in her stomach hard, and she falls back really hard. I wait to see if she'll stay down for 10 seconds, but at 8 seconds, she gets back up and I let her. I wait for her to come to me. She takes her time, gaining her balance, and when she does, I jump and hammer kick her in the face. OOHH, I hear from the crowd. She lay on the ground, knocked out. I wait for 10 seconds, and when the fight is called, I can hear my gang cheering loudly, and some applause from other pack members. I would have tried to help June up, but she was quickly surrounded by her pack members. I put my shoes on and my hoodie, and head back to my group, and they're congratulating me. It was an easy win. Chapter 12. Axe Point of View. I unintentionally say out loud. Thankfully, most everyone in the audience said it too. Lexi hammer kicked that girl so fast and swiftly in the face, and the way her head flung back, and she landed on the floor was badass. She would be a badass Luna. When she won the races, she seemed happy and proud of herself. She doesn't seem happy and proud right now. Maybe it was too easy for her. I can't help that I find myself staring at her constantly. I see her on the bleachers again, holding her sleeping baby. She's stroking her head and her back, and placing little kisses on her head. She's a good mother. I can tell she really loves her. This is torture. I want her. If she were mine, I'd want to be close to her all the time. Her mate is sitting 5 feet away from her. I'm aching for her, and he chooses to basically ignore her all day. I want to murder him. Mind you, I'd want to murder him even more if he had his hands all over her. I have so much rage and aggression. I wish I was fighting today. Hey, Alpha Jet! I holler out. Everyone from his group looks at me, including my mate. Though once she realizes it's me, she looks away. What's up, Jack? Now I see my mate's partner shaking his head at me, with disgust. She must have told him what happened between us. It actually makes me happy to know that she did. I want him to know that I had a piece of her last night, even if I can't have her again. She was mine for a moment. I know that would eat me up inside if I were him, and it has me grinning. Why don't you have alpha fights? I ask. My parents planned this event, and they said it was in poor taste to expect alphas to fight. But I agree, there should be alpha fights, he responds with a smile. Well, you're the alpha now. You make the call, I push. Jet is a big guy, and I know he's strong. I've experienced it in alpha training, but I'm sure I can take him. I've never met someone I thought I couldn't beat, truthfully. He smiles, I'm sure I can arrange something, I'm not sure how many will sign up, but I'll give it a go with you, he agrees with a smile. Music to my ears. Sounds good, I beam. Lexi brought her daughter back to the kids' area shortly after she woke up, and now she's just listening to music. I'm watching her like a hawk, and I can't even help it. I wanted to pay attention to the fights, but I'm so drawn to her. When my third best warrior John, and a guy named James from the Blood Moon pack, the guy I saw flirting with Lexi earlier, start to fight, I pay attention. I want James to have handed to him, but he ended up winning. Lexi was up next, and Lexi ended up getting her opponent to tap out within a minute. She looked so hot doing it too. The other girl was bloodied up, and Lexi walked away without a scratch. I hate that she's a good fighter. A few fights passed, and I just watched her. A girl named Jocelyn went up to fight. She spent the day with my mate, so they're obviously friends. She looks like an intimidating opponent. She looks very muscular and tough against Beska from my pack. Beska is my third best female warrior. The fight was hard to watch. I grew up with Beska, so seeing her get beaten so badly was tough. The next women's fight is with my lead female warrior, Laurel. She's so badass. She's fighting some Bonnie. The fight is quick and Bonnie was no match for Laurel. Last in this round is my top guy, Alex. Another quick fight. My warriors are amazing. The next round is the final four for each group. The first fight is with Star, my second best warrior, and Lexi. Star is fierce. I'm kind of afraid to watch. Lexi looks confident, as she stands listening to her music waiting to start. She pulls out her headphones, and I see Jocelyn is in her corner talking to her. Jocelyn must have said something funny because Lexi is laughing. Her mate is sitting on the bleachers watching her. You got this, Lex, he hollers and claps his hands. Why is he not up there with her friend, Jocelyn? I would be. The fight starts, and Lexi goes hard on the offense. She's punching and dodging, so quickly. It's impressive how fast she moves around. Star isn't landing much, but when she does, it's like it doesn't even faze Lexi. Lexi goes to kick Star and Star grabs her foot. I know what Star is going to do, and it won't be good for Lexi. She'll either break her leg or have Lexi tap out. Wait, what? What? Lexi was fast. She tucked her body and forced the momentum in a different direction, avoiding the move that Star was trying to do to her. She's quick, I hear Zack say under his breath. I want to physically hurt him for admiring her in any way, but he's right. Both girls were flung to the ground because of the way Lexi moved. Lexi fell in a roll, and before she even stops moving she had Star's arm wrapped between her legs and she's pulling. That happened so quickly. She keeps pulling and Star won't tap out. I see Lexi's face wince and then I hear a pop. Lexi lets go and the fight is called. Lexi won, and she immediately tries to help Star up. She looks more concerned for Star than she does excited about the fact she just earned herself a place in the top 2. Up next is Jocelyn and Laurel. This is going to be a good fight. Lexi stays in Jocelyn's corner too. As expected, this is a good fight. It's been 4 minutes, and both women look pretty good. They look pretty evenly matched, they both look like they're getting tired though. Lexi is encouraging her, you've got this. Get out there and make Cold Moon proud. Lexi yells at her. The girls go back in and Laurel seems to come back strong after the break. They fight for another minute, both as strong competitors. Jocelyn misjudges Laurel's movements and Laurel connects with her face hard. Jocelyn stumbles back a little, and Laurel uses the opportunity to roundhouse kick her in the head. Jocelyn is down. After 10 seconds, the whistle blows and Laurel is the winner. Lexi is quick to help her up. That means Lexi and Laurel will be fighting after the men. I don't like the thought of it. I don't want Lexi to get hurt. I know I should be concerned about Laurel since we're friends, and she's my warrior, but I can't help it. Now the men's final stage in the semi-finals. First up is that James guy, and Alex, from my pack. The fight lasted about 3 minutes. James is tough and strong, but Alex got the best of him. Next, my warrior Josh and Cold Moon's Marcus. I'm happy that my top 2 guys made it this far out of all these packs. Josh and Marcus last about 2 minutes before Marcus beat Josh. For the finals, I have my top fighters competing, which is a great feeling. Finals start in 10 minutes. I see that people are surrounding Lexi, and talking to her. I can't help but eavesdrop. I can't beat her guys, she beat Joss, I can't beat Joss. She declares to everyone. That, you were punching Star harder than you have ever punched us, Jocelyn tells her. I don't hold back with you guys, Lexi states. Yes you do, you might not realize it, but you do. I didn't realize it until today. Jocelyn says firmly. You've got this. You can do this. Marcus, the Cold Moon warrior, tells her, and he's looking at her adoringly. Is he flirting with her? What? Is he in love with her? Everyone is flirting with her. Her partner is right there too. Why isn't he doing anything? Marcus strokes one of her braids and rubs her shoulder. I feel the rage boiling over. I see Jet grab her phone, he hands her headphones and she puts them in, and he puts something on for her. He must know what she likes. Marcus is massaging her shoulders now, while everyone surrounds her. Why is he letting that guy massage her? What? Does he even love her? When the girls make their way to the ring, Lexi's friends follow. I can't help it, I need to get closer for this fight too. I stand in front of the ring, while each girl is on either side of it. You got this. You hear me? Gamma, her mate, yells at her and slaps her bare back, and hard. She just nods. She gets in the ring and I see his handprint on her back. What is that about? That pisses me off. I'm pulled out of my thoughts when the whistle blows. Laurel is immediately coming at Lexi hard and fast. Lexi is dodging and quick on her feet. Lexi is trying to give it right back to her too, but Laurel is dodging and blocking lots too. By the 4-minute mark, they are starting to tire a little. They've both managed to get a few punches in, but nothing too serious. The whistle blows and they get a minute off. Lexi sits, and someone gives her a drink and they're all trying to say something to her. She just raises her hand and everyone shuts up. With maybe 15 seconds left, her mate grabs her face in his hands and moves his face close to hers. I don't think I could bear to see her kiss him. Thankfully, he doesn't. He starts talking quietly, but I can hear what he's saying to her. Listen, I know you're hurting today and you're pissed off. Use it, you hear me? Use it. FK him. He says with anger laced in his tone. She nods. What is she so hurt about? I wonder. Take down his warrior. He roars and she nods again. He's talking about me? She's hurt and pissed because of me? Why? She's the one with the mate. I take a step forward towards her, but then I hear the whistle blow. She takes a deep breath and heads in. She has a fire in her right now. She moves in on Laurel fast. Laurel looks like she's still a little tired. Laurel lowers her arms to try and kick Lexi. Lexi takes the kick, and while Laurel's arms are lowered, Lexi uses the opening and gives her a jab, punch, jab, punch, right hook combination. She connected too. Laurel's nose is bleeding, and one of her eyes is swelling already. I know I'm supposed to be cheering on Laurel here, but I want Lexi to win, so I just stay completely quiet, with my arms crossed, while I'm up close watching it. Laurel recovers quickly and lunges towards Lexi, throwing Lexi down. Laurel goes to grab Lexi's arm to try and pull, to get her to tap out, but Lexi uses her legs and feet to pull Laurel's head back, making her let go. Lexi is good, and the one thing I've noticed about her is she's really quick. They both jump up quickly. Lexi's friends are constantly screaming and cheering for her. Even Maximus is there. Both the girls are getting more tired, now they are not blocking and dodging as well. Laurel has landed a few on Lexi, and her nose and lip are bleeding. I hear the whistle again, another 4 minutes have gone by. When that whistle blows, it's like I release the breath I was holding. It feels like I've been holding my breath for much of this fight. Lexi sits and takes a drink. She hands the bottle to Jocelyn, and she squirts water on her head. Lexi just rests for the rest of the minute with her eyes closed while that massages her shoulders again. Lexi stands up, knowing her minute is almost done. Alexandria. Your father would be really proud if he could see you, Maximus tells her, and she smiles broadly at him, yet, her mate adds enthusiastically. She smiles and gets back in the ring. The whistle blows, and Laurel looks tired. Lexi comes in fast and hard. Laurel blocks and dodges, but it seems like Lexi just gets another burst of energy and she doesn't let up. Connecting more and more with Laurel. Laurel is trying to grab a hold of Lexi now to just hold her for a second to catch her breath, but Lexi uses her leg to trip her, and in one swift movement uses her knee to hit Laurel's stomach as she's already falling, making her hit the ground even harder. Lexi waits, and they start counting. I notice she never hits someone when they're down. She always gives them a chance to get up. Laurel gets up at 6, out of breath and dizzy. As soon as she's up, Lexi is on her again, giving her quick and hard punch combinations, landing each one, until Laurel falls to the ground. The ref counts to 10, and the whistle is blown. Lexi won. She beat Laurel. She walks to her chair and sits down, head in her hands and starts crying. Are you okay? Everyone asks her. She lifts her head, I did it. I can't believe I did it, she says through tears. It's very endearing. I'm so proud of her. I want to hold her and congratulate her. Everyone is screaming and cheering for her. She pulls herself together quickly and gets up. She's getting hugged by everyone around her. Thanks, guys. Then she looks at Marcus. I'm kind of overwhelmed, I need a minute. I'm going to go home for a shower. You got this though, Marcus. You can do it, she says and slaps his back hard. He nods and smiles. What's with the back slapping? She grabs her stuff and jogs off. I want to follow her, but I know as Alpha, I need to stay and watch the final for the men, especially because my lead warrior is in it. I sit on the bleachers in front of the ring and pretend to pay attention. I just can't stop thinking about my mate. Midway through the fight, I see Lexi's gamma mate flirting with some girl. He has his arm around her and whispers into her ear, and she giggles. What is that? I can't even control myself, I'm so mad. I can't have her because of him, and he's flirting with her? She's nothing compared to my mate. I jump up, what are you doing? I yell at him, in full alpha voice. Excuse me. He says, looking pissed. He unwraps his arm from the blonde, and I take this opportunity to grab him by the throat, and I throw him to the ground. Everyone is around us now. What is going on here? Alpha Jet asks. He looks at me, and then Gamma. Laugh. He questions his Gamma. I have no idea, he just attacks me out of nowhere. I scoff, it wasn't out of nowhere. What's going on? Jet yells. He has the best woman here, and he's flirting with this mutt. I roar. Hey, don't call me a mutt, the mutt whines. What are you even talking about? Gamma yells. Lexi. I growl. Everyone is looking at me like I'm crazy now. Ugh, gross. Gamma says. How dare he? I lunge at him, and Alpha Jet pulls me off. They're brother and sister, Jack. He yells. What? No. With Molly, I saw you both yesterday. She looks like you too, and the way you were talking to her, and, I don't look like her, aside from blonde hair. She's my niece. Dude, Lexi is my sister, Gamma says while standing up. I'm sorry, I thought I couldn't have her because she had a family with you, and when I saw what I thought was you not treating her well. I lost it, I admit. I feel like a weight is lifted off my chest. But wait, who's the father? Is she mated to someone? I ask. Alpha Jet and Gamma both shake their heads no. So you left the hospital last night because you thought we were together? Gamma asks and I nod. He bursts out laughing, then I can see his face gets very serious. She thinks that you were pissed and left because you found out she has a kid, he confesses. What? I feel my heart racing. I thought she got carried away with the mate bond and was trying to keep her distance because of you, and you gave me some dirty looks, it just seemed to further that theory, I explain. I need to talk to her. Can you take me to her? I ask. Yes you do, but she'll be back soon. She just went home for a shower. Hardly the place to talk to her, Gamma says. I'm Lev, by the way, he adds, extending his hand. Jack. I shake his hand. Wait, so who is Molly's dad? I ask. That's a conversation to have with Lex, Lev says firmly. I nod. I hear cheering, and look behind me, and I see my warrior Alex is standing victorious over his opponent, Marcus. The same Marcus that was flirting with my Lexi earlier. Things just keep getting better for me. Chapter 13. Lexi's point of view. I can't believe I just won. I can't believe it. I'm a mix of emotions. Shock, excitement, and disbelief about the fight, and then also anger, and pain because of my mate. The mix of emotions made me lose control in front of everyone a minute ago. I said I needed a shower because I didn't know if I could hold it in much longer. I run home and rush upstairs to the washroom. I undress and hop into the shower. As soon as the water hits my skin, it's as if the dam breaks. I'm sitting in the shower, water spilling on me, sobbing into my hands. He was so close to the fight. I could smell him, and I know he was right there watching, but I couldn't look at him. It's so hard. I'm having chest pains, and all I want to do is get Molly, curl up on the couch and fill up on pizza and ice cream, but I know I need to get out there to support Lef in the beta and gamma fights. After 10 minutes of crying and losing control, I get up and wash my hair and body. After the fights, I'll take care of myself and Molly, and avoid the world. Right now, I need to get me together. I get out of the shower, blow dry my hair, and wear it down, letting my natural loose curls hang. I put on some black skinny jeans, and a plain baggy V-neck white t-shirt, half tucked in. My eyes are a little puffy, my nose is red, and my lips look swollen and red from the crying. I put on some mascara, a natural colored lip stain, and some powder on my nose to hide the evidence of what happened in the shower. My lip and nose are already healed from the fight. It wasn't serious, and werewolf healing is great. I pick up Molly, and stop at the snack tent and grab a frozen fruit smoothie, and a big chocolate chip cookie for Molly to tide her over until dinner. Then I head towards the fights with Molly on my hip. Beta and gamma fights have started. I see that Lef looks fine, so he must not have fought yet. I don't see my mate, thankfully. I soon see Marcus sitting on the bleacher, and he has a swollen eye and lip, but is in good spirits. I walked over, standing in front of him and asked, "How did it go?" "I lost," he admits, sounding defeated. 2nd place out of all these warriors is still really good, I try to cheer him up. He nods. "First place is better. It must feel so good knowing that you beat all of those women?" "I'm so proud of you, Lex," he smiles. "It does feel pretty good," I admit with a cheeky smile. I look at his swollen cheek, and I move my frozen smoothie to touch it. "You should be icing this, I win CE." He stares at me and smiles. I've never noticed him look at me like this before. He is always very nice to me, though. He puts his hand on my arm without breaking eye contact. He's looking at me with what looks like adoration. Marcus is a good man, he's strong and attractive too. And even with Molly in my arms, he's looking at me like I'm something special. I know I should move on. He'd be a good father figure for Molly too. I don't think he's found his mate yet, and he's only 22. Maybe? I would have to talk to him about it in private, at some point. But I would need some time to process the loss of my mate. I'm pulled out of my thoughts by the sound of a loud growl. I turn my head and see my mate enraged, as he marches towards me. I'm not sure what his problem is. "Get your hand off of her now," he growls, with full alpha authority. Marcus looks confused, and lets go of my arm. "What is your problem?" I ask, thoroughly annoyed. He doesn't want me, but no one else can have me either? "Can I talk to you?" he asks, now with a little calmer tone. He wants to talk to me now? "Please," he adds, even softer. I hesitate, but then nod and he ushers me to go first. "You don't have to go, Lex," Marcus says, maybe concerned or jealous. I'm not sure. "It's okay, Marcus," I assure him. We walk to somewhere more private, while Molly is still in my arms. We are in a grassy spot away from everyone. "What?" I ask bluntly. "Can we sit?" he asks, and his eyes are pleading with me, and his tone is gentle, so I sit on the grass and sit Molly on my lap. I give her a piece of the cookie I grabbed for her and she's content with that. Cookie," she keeps saying. Her little voice loving on her cookie is so cute. I look at Jack, and he's smiling too. That stings. Seeing the man I want in every way possible, looking adoringly at the person I love and am most protective of. He looks so good too. His black t-shirt hugs his arms and chest tightly, and I can see his perfectly sculpted body. Focus, Lexi, focus. What did you want to talk to me about? I ask a little softer than before. I have made a huge mistake. I followed you to the hospital last night, and I thought you, Lef and Molly were a family. I thought Lef and you were together, and that you just had a moment of weakness with me. What? Me with Lef? He's my brother. I say with disgust. He smiles. Yet, Lef told me. You talked to Lef. Yet, he also told me that you thought I left because you have a kid, he confesses, and his green eyes look at me as if he feels my pain. I nod, trying to hold back the tears. You're completely single, he asks, and I nod again. Thank Moon Goddess, he says with a sigh of relief. I can't help but smile a little. So you don't mind that I'm a mom? I verify, not letting myself get my hopes up. If I'm being honest, it hurts that you've experienced so much with another man. Creating a child. It hurts because I feel like she should be ours, not yours, and someone else's. It hurts, but I don't want to lose you, his confession has me tearing up. Hearing him say he doesn't want to lose me makes my heart feel like it's going to burst in a good way. Not the way it has been feeling all day. I don't want to lose you either, I admit. He grabs my hand quickly and kisses it. I feel the sparks from the contact and it feels so good. I didn't have those moments with another man. You need to know this, but it isn't something that I want to be public knowledge. I'm not Molly's biological mother. What does that? How? I'm confused, he mutters, his eyebrows furrow. I found her as a newborn in the forest in a cardboard box. Soaking wet in sweat, hungry and dehydrated. I felt an immediate connection to her. Alpha wanted to drop her off at the fire station. He assumed she was either a human or an Omega and would be fine living as a human either way. I knew I couldn't let her go. It's hard to explain, but I felt like she was my destiny. Alpha said I could keep her here until she was a year old. If she was a wolf I could stay, but if she was a human, I agreed to move out and raise her among humans. His eyebrows raise, it must be hard for him to imagine me giving up my pack. I don't want people knowing that she isn't biologically mine. I don't want her to ever feel like she's not mine, or that she doesn't belong. She is mine. I'd kill for her, I'd die for her. She's mine. I explain. He nods while giving my hand a squeeze. The sparks coming from his calloused hands feel amazing. He smiles, and pulls my hand up to his lips and kisses it again. Just holding his hand and smelling his delicious scent has me wanting to jump him. If Molly wasn't here, I wouldn't be able to control myself. I think you're amazing. Molly is lucky to have you, and I hope I'm lucky enough to have you both in my life, he tells me. I look into his deep green eyes, and all I see is love. My heart feels so full. I can't even help that I'm smiling from ear to ear. Molly stands up and makes her way to Jack. I'm a little nervous. Jack is so large and muscular and has a real hardness about him. It's hard to picture him being tender with kids. As much as I want him, it suddenly dawns on me, what if he isn't good with her? I feel my heart rate quicken. I watch as she walks up to him. Hi, Molly. He greets her gently. Bite. Bite. Cookie. She says to him while raising her cookie for him to have a bite. He smiles and obliges her and takes a bite. Thank you, he tells her with a big smile. She sits on his leg and leans her head into his chest. She's not usually so good with new men, so it surprises me to see that she's so comfortable with him. He wraps his strong muscular arms around her in a hug. I feel so comfortable with him, and him physically embracing her makes me happier than I ever could have imagined. She looks so tiny in your arms, I say because I know I'm smiling so hard, and I don't want him to know I'm totally fangirling over him. I can't stop thinking about how much I want to touch him. He's sitting across from me, with Molly still in his arms. I crawl over to them and sit beside him and cuddle into him. He groans and plants a kiss on my forehead. "You smell so good," he whispers to me. I chuckle and lift my head and look him in the eyes. I move in and plant a little kiss on his lips. He leans his head against mine. "I'm sorry," he whispers. I smile, "Me too. We both made conclusions that hurt us both," I admit. We enjoy a quiet moment, leaned into each other. "There's something I want," Jack's deep voice cuts through the silence. "What?" "Once I mark you, I want her to be ours, not just yours. I want us to be a family, and I want to be her dad." I look into his eyes and I see so much tenderness. He's everything I could have ever hoped for, ever dreamt of, and ever wanted and needed. Nothing would make me happier, I confess. He sighs in relief. He moves into me and gives me a small kiss. I always felt like Molly was my destiny, and it's crazy because she is great with Lef and Jet, because she's so used to them, but other than that she has stranger danger with men. She took to you so quickly, it makes me feel like she wasn't just my destiny, but our destiny. He smiles and kisses the top of her head. "All gone? Mo cookie? Peas mama?" Molly asks and I smile. "How do you say no to that?" Jack asks with a chuckle. I lean over and grab another piece. "Thank you, mama." "You're welcome, honey." Molly takes her cookie and makes her way to some wild flowers about 10 feet away. I look up at Jack and he's staring at me and smiling. "What?" I ask. "You're just everything," he says while snaking his arm around my waist and pulling me on top of his lap. I'm sitting sideways on him, and he holds me tight, breathing me in. I do the same, and I feel such a sense of calm and ease. I think we both needed this. After a minute, he reminds me, we should head back. I requested that Alpha fight earlier, it's not going to look good if I'm a no-show, he chuckles. I groan and stand up. "Come on, Miss Molly." I call her while holding out my hand. She runs over and holds my hand. "Do you want a shoulder ride, Molly?" Jack asks her. He scoops her up and sets her on his shoulders while holding her legs. She's laughing and pointing at all the things she can see from his shoulders. She's so happy. "Seriously, my ovaries," I groan, and he flashes me a megawatt smile. His perfect smile makes me want to jump him. Everything he does seems to have that effect on me. When we get to the bleachers, the final Gamma/Beta fight is starting. Jack takes Molly off his shoulders. I offer to take her but he refuses and holds her in his arms. I see Lef is up against Jack's Beta, Zack. I can't believe Lef beat out so many Betas, including Cold Moons. Usually, the Beta is stronger than the Gamma. I'm in shock and run to Lef. "I missed everything. You made it to the final. I am so proud of you," I tell him. He smiles, and I can tell he is so happy and proud too. There are a bunch of our friends around him. The ref is calling them in and I haul off and slap Lef as hard as I can on his bare back. "You got this!" I yell. He nods and heads into the ring. I make it back to where Jack and Molly are. We're rooting for opposing teams, I smirk and he nods. "What's with the slaps?" Jack asks. "What? You don't do that?" I ask, surprised. He smirks and shakes his head. Weird. Well, a hard slap on the bearskin stings. I admit. Yet. I know. So why do it? He seems confused. To piss him off. Now he can take all that anger out on Zack boy over there. I smile and he does too, but shakes his head. I wanted to kill your brother earlier for slapping you. I kept looking at his handprint on your back for the entire fight, he admits with a raised eyebrow. I didn't realize you were watching me so intently, I smirk. He moves closer to whisper in my ear, I couldn't take my eyes off of you all day. I find myself breathing heavier. I look him in the eyes, and I can see flecks of black in his once green orbs. That's arousal. He must have sensed the effect he had on me. I lick my lips, and he's looking at them with hunger. Oh no, I need to get this situation under control. People are everywhere, and I'm supposed to be cheering my brother on. I think of something to say to lighten the mood. That's creepy, I smile. He chuckles and suddenly his eyes are green again. The fight between Zack and Lef was a decent fight. I'm impressed with Lef. During the second round, Zack ended up getting Lef to tap out, or his elbow would have been dislocated. Now that Lef's done fighting, it's as if everyone realizes I'm standing with Jack, and he's holding a content molly. I introduce him to everyone and I find out that Jack attacked Lef earlier, and most of my friends already knew about Jack's mix-up because they witnessed his and Lef's altercation. Chapter 14. I have to go back to the cottage to get changed for the alpha fight. Do you want to come with me, and meet my parents? Jack asks. I'm so nervous. What about Molly? I want them to meet her too, he insists. I want them to meet both of you. This was the best case scenario that I had in mind when imagining my future. My fated mate accepted me and my daughter, and wants to embrace us both. My heart is so full. How are they going to take this? You show up with your mate and her kid. I ask with a wince. They'll be fine. Can we tell my parents about how you found Molly? I'll make sure they never repeat it. Yeah, you can tell people you're really close to, that you really trust, I add. What should we tell our pack? Jack asks. Our. Yes, you're my mate. You'll be there, Luna, he says so matter of fact. I take a deep breath. That's a lot to take in. Are you nervous? Yeah. I confess, like day. He chuckles. Of course I am. I wasn't expecting an alpha mate, and especially not one from one of the strongest packs. I don't know how to be a Luna, I admit. He laughs and pulls me close. Correction. The strongest, and yes you do. You're strong and kind, loyal, and hard-working. You'll be the best Luna, Jack assures me. I give him a grateful smile. Thanks. So what should we tell our pack? Jack repeats. I don't know. We can tell them that I'm your second chance mate, and your first mate died. He suggests. I raise one brow. Who would believe that? No one is going to believe you could ever be anyone's second choice. Maybe see what your parents think. I suggest. He agrees, with a smirk from my compliment of him. When we walk in, his parents are sitting in the sitting room reading. You guys missed all the action so you can read all day, Jack questions. His parents have their backs to us, sitting in chairs side by side. It's too loud and chaotic, we've paid our dues. We're off the hook now, his mom says. I look at Jack and we smile at each other. They have no idea Jack's not alone. I wanted you to meet two special ladies, Jack tells his parents. They both whip their head around, shocked to see us. Is this? His mother asks. He nods, and I smile at her. I see her looking at me, and then in Jack's arms, at Molly. Jack's dad looks similar to Jack, with the same dark hair, but he has sprinkles of grey, he's tanned, very muscular but he has brown eyes. His mother has shorter dark brown hair that hugs her face and comes to her chin, with some grey. She has fairer skin, and she has the same green eyes that Jack has. She is short and skinny. Jack's dad stands up. Hello, I'm Tom, good to meet you, his father tells me, as he stretches out his hand to shake mine. I'm Lexi, nice to meet you too. And who is this little cutie? He asks as he looks at Molly. This is Molly. Can you say hi, Molly? I ask her. Hi, she says, but cuddles into Jack. She's usually pretty shy, I tell Tom, so he doesn't take it personally. Usually, anyways, she seems to have taken to Jack pretty quickly, I add. Feeling very proud that my mate has made such a positive impression on my girl. His mother hesitates and gets up. I don't think she's thrilled about Molly and I. I'm Claire, nice to meet you both, she says. It's nice to meet you too, I add. She keeps her distance, so I avoid moving in to shake her hand. She didn't acknowledge Molly at all either. That kind of pisses me off. Maybe she is overwhelmed. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt this time. Come, sit. Let's get to know you both a little bit, Tom says. I sit on the couch with Jack and Molly, sitting across from them. I only have about 20 minutes before the alpha fight, Jack informs them. What alpha fights? Claire asks. They decided to add an alpha category last minute, Jack says, leaving out his part in that. Mama, Molly whines, and I reach out and Jack passes her to me. I swear Molly is so intuitive of energies and emotions. It's like she senses it, and that's why she must want me now. Jack's hand quickly makes its way to my back. He's very attentive. So tell us about yourself, and your family background, his mother asks. Family background? My mother was a doctor, my father was the Gamma before they passed. My brother is the Gamma now and I'm a warrior. What's your rank? Claire asks. 2nd among the females. Tisk tisk. Not anymore, Jack says with a proud smile. Well, I think I just got lucky today, I add. She beat everyone today. She even beat Laurel, Jack is beaming as he tells his parents. Both his parents seem pretty happy about that. She also got first place in both the wolf and human races. Wow! That's incredible! How long have you been training? Tom asks. Well, training seriously, for 13 months. I always used to want to be a doctor, so I only trained about 2 to 3 hours a week. I took 8 months off, and then I made it a priority to get as strong as I could. 13 months. Jack asks me, surprised. I furrow my brows. Yeah, why? His dad is nodding like he's impressed. That's incredible. Laurel has been training 4 or more hours a day for the last 6 years, Jack admits. Wow! I don't even know what to say to that. I feel proud of myself, though. Tell me about your daughter, Claire says. Well, Molly is a year and 7 months. I take a deep breath and I feel Jack rubbing my back again, and his touch calms me. She's going to tell you something and it doesn't leave this room. She doesn't want our whole pack knowing this truth, Jack explains and they nod. I tell them about Molly and how I found her. Wow! So you were wrong then about the man that you thought was her partner? Claire asks. Yes, that was her brother. I misread the whole situation, he admits while shaking his head. Oh, thank Moon Goddess! I thought you just tore this family apart. Claire confesses. We both smile at each other. I wouldn't have done that to Molly, I assure her. We don't want people to know about Molly not being biologically Lexi's. What do you think we should tell our pack? Jack asks. I was thinking I'm her second chance mate, and her first mate died, Jack admits. Who's going to believe she was fated to some warrior, and you are her second chance? You're no one's second choice, Claire declares. I told you, I beam. He smiles, and pulls me in and kisses my temple. Lexi said the same thing, he admits to his mother. That seems to please her, and she smiles. A real smile. Everyone here at Cold Moon knows she was adopted, but I grew up here, and it didn't matter when I was just a warrior. No one would feel the need to try and hurt her as a warrior's daughter. But given Jack's rank, I'm fearful people will throw it in her face to hurt her as she gets older. I just don't want anyone to ever make her feel like she doesn't belong, or that she's not really mine. I am fiercely protective of her, I admit. I understand, dear. Why don't you just say she was your daughter from before Jack? If Jack and you decide that he is to take on that fatherly role with her, then it will be made known if anyone ever even implies that she isn't our family. They'll be looking for a new pack, Tom explains. Tom, I need to pause for a second to contain my emotions. I clear my throat. I really appreciate you saying that. I am really grateful. It's such a relief to know that you'll accept Molly into your family. I've talked to Lexi about it, and once I've marked her, I want to take on that role and become Molly's dad. She agreed. Just so you're both aware, he explains. They both nod and smile. I'm going to change quickly, and then we'll go, Jack says, and leaves me in the living room with Molly, and his parents. Molly must sense that everyone seems calmer because she climbs down from me and starts telling Tom that she was playing in the sand today. Her little voice is too cute too. She makes her way over to Claire and starts poking her head from behind the side table. When Claire says peekaboo after Molly pokes her head out, Molly bursts out laughing. It's music to my ears, and theirs too. They laugh, and Claire continues. When Jack walks into the room, he's smiling ear to ear. Listen to that cutie, he beams. I really hate to break this up, but I'm probably already late. We should go. Chapter 15. I drop Molly off with the kids again, because I anticipate being on edge for these fights, and Molly is so intuitive of emotions, I don't want to upset her. We're sitting on the bleachers when it's announced that only 2 alphas signed up because of the short notice. Short notice? Sure. They're afraid of losing. Jack just looks at me and smiles. I can tell he's thinking exactly what I am. Then I hear Jet mind linking me, Lexi, can you come up to the pack house? Grace is a wreck about me fighting. Can you help me talk to her? Of course I have to go to the pack house. Jet needs me to talk to Grace. She's not happy about Jet fighting, I tell Jack. I'll come with you. When we get there, Grace is sobbing and begging Jet not to go. Look, baby. Look at Lex. She fought like 5 times today, and she looks fine. We heal fast, you don't need to worry. Just stay in here, and I'll be back soon, okay? Jet tries to reason with her. He's right, Grace. We get hurt all the time during training, and we heal so fast no one really notices. He's going to be fine. Trust me, I try to reassure her. I can't just stay in here when you're out fighting, and I can't go and watch you fight, Grace argues as big tears fall down her cheek. I'll stay with you if you want, I offer. Please Jet, she sobs, and I can't stand to see her so upset. Okay, your mate and our Luna is pregnant, and she's stressed out. That's not good for her or your pup, Jet. Is this meaningless fight worth it? I ask as I hold a protective hand over her stomach, and he groans. I look at Jack, with pleading eyes, and he rolls his. I understand if you want to cancel the fight. If I were in your position, I wouldn't be able to refuse my mate, Jack admits. I can't even help that I am beaming at his response. I move to Jack and snake my arms around his waist. I feel so small in his arms, but it's like we're perfect puzzle pieces. He wraps his strong arms around me and holds me close. Thank you, I whisper. I stand on my tiptoes, and he gives me a sweet peck. Let's take a little walk before we pick Molly up for dinner, I whisper. Jack smiles. Make an announcement we both wanted to cancel the fight, Jack says while grabbing my hand, and leaving the pack house. We walk behind the pack house away from everyone. I look at my watch, it's 6:10. I need to pick Molly up at 6:30 p.m. We have 20 minutes, I tell him as we walk hand in hand. He pulls my arm so I'm facing him. I see the mischievous smile on his face, and it gives me butterflies. He pulls me in and kisses me. It's a slow and passionate kiss, and I can feel the desire in it. He pulls me up, so I have my legs wrapped around his waist. Our bodies so close together feels so good. When we break the kiss, I find myself giddy with excitement. Jack is smiling, as he continues to carry me further away from everyone, and just the sight of that beautiful smile does something to my insides. I've never felt anything like this before. A few minutes later, after passing some trees, he finds the perfect private grassy spot. I just want to hold you for a few minutes without anyone else, Jack admits. Me too. I agree. Jack sits down without letting me go, so I'm straddling him now. At first, I just hold him close for a minute, breathing in his delicious manly scent and enjoying the way his body feels against mine. The way the sparks feel on my hand as it caresses his neck. I feel like I've needed this contact so desperately all day. Finally, I pull away a little to look at him. I trail my fingertips across his face, studying each bit of it. His strong jawline, his 5 o'clock shadow, his perfectly straight nose, and his deep green eyes. You're so handsome, I admit to him as I lean in to kiss him. He smiles into my lips and kisses me back. It starts soft but I soon find myself lying on the grass, with Jack on top of me, kissing me with my legs wrapped around his hips. Our kisses deepen, and it's getting more intense. He grabs my face and moves it to the side as he kisses his way to my neck. It all feels so good. It feels like my entire body is tingling, and it can only be described as euphoric. I find myself trying to catch my breath and maintain control, but when I feel his hardness pushed against me, a moan escapes my lips. That only seems to have added fuel to our fire, because he's kissing with more urgency and now I'm grinding into him, chasing my own pleasure. I feel desperate for him, all of him. But we can't. Not here. Not now. Wait, what time is it? I pant. I look at my watch and it's 6:22 p.m. I groan, and he grabs my arm to take a look. 2 more minutes, he pants, and his lips crash against mine. I trail my fingernails gently on his back, under his t-shirt, and when he groans, I pull him closer to me. I feel like I want to tell him I love him right now, as well as tell him how much I want him inside of me, but it's too soon for love, and he obviously can't be inside me right now, so I keep my thoughts to myself. He pulls away, but comes back to give me one more kiss and then looks me in the eyes. I see the flecks of black swirling in them, and I love it. You're so beautiful, and those lips, he groans. He takes a deep breath. Let's go get Molly, he says while standing up, and pulling me up with him. We dust ourselves off, and he rearranges himself and then he picks the strands of grass out of my hair. I don't want any evidence that I was being indecent with you. Well, except for that, he says as he points to my neck, with a proud smile. What? Did you give me a hickey? I ask, suddenly feeling mortified. I had to, guys have been hitting on you all day, he states plainly. I needed to let them know you're taken. You're mine, he states firmly, and I raise my eyebrows. And are you mine? I ask. Definitely, he adds. Maybe I shouldn't like him saying that I'm his, but the way he said definitely with such certainty that he was mine, just gives me butterflies. Dinner is a barbecue, but it's served in the pack house cafeteria. The tables in the cafeteria fit 8 people per table, so our table consisted of Jack, Molly, and I, Jack's parents, Lef and Gracie and Jet. Everyone is getting along well, and Grace is happy as can be. You'd never know she was having a meltdown 30 minutes ago. She's quick to point out the hickey and it's so embarrassing, especially because Jack's parents are here. It doesn't seem to bother Jack though, he just smiles with pride. He's glad everyone knows I'm his. Before we started eating, an announcement was made that Black Moon beat Cold Moon by 3 points in the games. Jack is so proud, and Jet is taking the loss with a good attitude. So what's the plan, Lex? When are you moving to Black Moon? Lef asks. I didn't fully wrap my head around the fact that I would be moving 4 hours away, leaving all my friends and family behind. I don't know, we haven't talked about it, I answer. As soon as possible, Jack answers and rubs my leg. I give him a small smile. It's a big commitment to just up and leave. Especially considering I'm picking up Molly's whole life, and uprooting her. Jack is looking at me intently, almost waiting for an answer. We'll talk about it after dinner, I smile and lean into him. I know I'll miss waking up to my little princess every morning, Lef adds with a frown and then I frown. Guys, it's only a 4-hour drive, Jack adds. I'll miss you too, Lex, and your cooking and baking, Lef tells me, with a small smile. I know he's trying to lighten the mood. Hey, you're about to start traveling more for work, and you're going to find a mate and you'll be glad you're not living with your little sister and niece anymore, I tell him. He nods half-heartedly. This auntie is going to miss you both, Grace says and starts to cry. Gracie, baby, don't make it harder for her, Jet whispers. Grace doesn't usually cry so much, it must be the pregnancy hormones. Molly leans over and kisses Grace on the cheek. Aunt Gracie's sad. Molly asks Grace. Grace lets a little laugh out and scoops her up. Now I'm happy. You made me all better. Molly smiles and gives her one more kiss. Mama's sad, she asks. I'm happy baby, see, I say and smile wide for her. She comes over to me, and kisses me, and hugs me. I was holding it together well. No one thinks I'm upset, but Molly knows. She senses so much. When we're done, I notice Molly is getting a little cranky. Let's get you home. We'll get you bathed and to bed. You had a big day today, didn't you, Miss Molly? I coo. Do you want to come over and just hang out until I get her to bed, or do you want me to just call you or text you or something when she's sleeping so we can figure out a plan? I asked Jack. We were supposed to head back to Black Moon after dinner, he admits. Don't go, I frown and he smiles broadly and nods. Mom, Dad, you guys can go and have someone drop a vehicle off tomorrow morning for me, Jack instructs them. We say our goodbyes and Lev, Jack, Molly and I head back to my house. I take Molly up for a bath right away, and I can hear Lev and Jack talking downstairs. I'm glad they're getting along. As I'm reading to her in my bed, I hear a knock. I look over and Jack is leaning on my door frame. Hey, you wanna come listen to the story too? I ask. He smiles, and I pat the bed. He comes in and lies on the other side of Molly. I continue. I always use different voices for the different characters. In this story, I was doing the granny voice, and a baby voice, and when it came to the man's voice, Jack chimed in and read those parts. Such a small thing, but it made me so incredibly happy. When the story is done, I tell Molly it's bedtime. Do you want to give Alpha a hug good night? I ask her. She crawls over and lays her head on his chest. He wraps an arm around her and she just stays there. Then he uses his other hand to stroke her hair. It reminds me of all the times I cuddled up and hugged my dad. I always felt so safe and secure in his arms. I hope she has that same feeling with him one day. I lay beside them and watch as her eyes get heavy. She feels safe with him already. My heart feels like it's going to explode with pride and love. I'm falling hard. After a few minutes, she's sleeping, I whisper to him and he smiles and wraps both arms around her and kisses her head. Chapter 16. She's a really sweet kid, Lexi, he smiles as I walk back in my room from putting her in her bed. She is, and she took a liking to you, I beam and he sits up. It was meant to be, he adds, sincerely. Come, sit. Let's get this whole situation figured out, it's stressing me out, he says with a pat on my bed. I sit, and I tell him about how I don't want to just uproot Molly's life. She has an aunt and uncles here, and she has little friends. It's just hard, I admit. I get that, but at the end of the day, whether you prolong it or rip the band-aid off, it's still going to be a drastic change and adjustment for her. I know I don't want to be away from you, but if you're not ready, or if you don't think it's what's best for Molly, I'll wait, very impatiently, but I will, he confesses with a small smile. The fact he's so sweet just makes it even harder to think about staying away from him. Okay, so what does moving to Black Moon look like? Where would we stay? Well, I'm not sure what you're comfortable with. At our pack, I don't live in the pack house. I live in a house beside the pack house. I live there alone, it has 5 bedrooms. I would like it if you both would live there with me, but if you're not comfortable, then I can set you up in a house on the pack lands. His green eyes are staring at me intently, trying to figure me out, and what I'm thinking. And if you live in my house with me, you can still have your own room, if that's what you want, he adds. And Molly? I ask. She'll have a room of her own, of course. So, he asks. So what? Do you want to live together or apart? I can tell he is nervous about my reply. I think it would be pointless to live separately, I don't think it would stick, I smirk. His megawatt smile is so beautiful. He moves in and gives me a little kiss. I'm so happy to hear you say that. I don't want to live apart from you, he adds. So the big question. When? He presses. He's looking at me with such tender eyes. Why don't you let me sleep on it, and I'll let you know tomorrow. Sure, he agrees. I asked lots of questions about Black Moon. I found out they have a child care center too, and I got lots of information about Jack's pack in general. Black Moon is a large pack as well, and they are probably the only pack as big and strong as Cold Moon. Jack insists they're the strongest. It'd be a safe place for Molly, and it sounds like it'll be a great place to live. It has a large park on the pack lands, a splash pad, and also a lake where the pack gets together for parties and BBQs in the summer. It sounds great, but I'll really miss my family and friends. I see Jack looking at me, and the way he's looking at me, makes me feel so beautiful and loved. I scoot closer to him and slowly place my lips on his. He kisses me slowly and passionately. It makes me feel weak in the knees. I pull his shirt, as I lay down, taking him with me. I feel a mind link coming through. Lex, Sophie's at the door for you. I'm leaving for a few minutes but she's in the house waiting. Left tells me. I break the kiss and groan. I'll be back, I tell him. I walk downstairs, and I see Sophie standing at my front door. Hey, Sophie, what's up? Are you seriously going to act all innocent with me? You steal my man, and then you talk to me like everything is peachy, she asks, her tone laced with anger and disgust. He's my mate Sophie, I didn't plan this, I try and stay calm. I remind myself of who her father and brother are, and that I can't lose it on her for talking about my man like this. Sure. Maybe that's why you didn't make me a better fighter. You planned this all along. And look at your neck. You're such a slut. First off, I didn't plan this. Second of all, your ability to fight is based on the work you put in. You went to group classes, and one-on-one classes, but you refused to take it seriously, and you paid the price for it. As for the hickey, let's be honest, if Jack gave it to you, you'd be wearing it with pride. You're just bitter, you need to move on. I say calmly but firmly. Bitter? Maybe I am. He's mine. She raises her voice, and I'm starting to not care who her family is. No, he's not. I raise my voice. What? Do you think he's yours? You're a Gamma's daughter. There is some sort of mistake. You can't be mated to Jack, he's supposed to be with me. She's pissing me off, but before I can respond, I hear Jack's deep voice cut through the tension. I'm hers, and she is mine, he says firmly while walking down the stairs. The sight of my mate, coming down the stairs and declaring our claim on each other has me beaming with pride and lust. Jack, I didn't know you were here. Baby, can we go for a walk and talk? I think there is a mistake, she uses a cutesy voice. Instantly, I want to kill her. Call him baby one more time and see what happens, I growl. She takes a step back from me and Jack wraps his arm around my waist. Listen, and listen carefully. I knew I couldn't be with you before I even found out Lexi was my mate. You're selfish and spoiled, so stop blaming her. There is nothing between us. There never was. Leave my mate alone, and go home, you're embarrassing yourself, he orders, calmly. Her face is red. If she wasn't embarrassed before, she is now. She shoots me a dirty look, probably trying to mask the embarrassment, and hesitantly leaves. As soon as the door closes, I like seeing you all possessive and jealous, he whispers in my ear, while still holding me close. He nips at my neck and then leans in to kiss me. I smile into the kiss, feeling my cheeks burn with a pink of their own. Our kiss went from sweet to hot very quickly, and then I heard the door open beside me. I break the kiss, and look over at a disgusted Lev. Gross, Lex. He groans. Lev quickly runs upstairs, trying to get away from the image that seems to have burned his eyes. I should go, Jack whispers. Don't go, stay the night, I ask sweetly. Our foreheads are touching and we have our arms wrapped around each other. Things seem to escalate quickly with us, and I don't think it's a good idea, he says quietly. What if you just sleep here, and I promise not to even kiss you, so we don't lose control? We can just sleep together? Just cuddle and talk? I ask. I did use the sweetest possible voice I could muster, and I did stoop so low as to use puppy dog eyes. But it worked, so I have no remorse. His face slowly starts to soften, and then he groans. I can't even help it. I chuckle and pull him close into my arms. I'm falling so hard for him. I pull him upstairs, and when we get to my room I close the door. Don't close the door, Jack instructs me. You're not going to sleep in all those clothes, you'll probably just sleep in your underwear, so I should still close the door, I tell him. Part of me thinks maybe it's too soon to have S*X with him, and another part of me really wants to jump him. So maybe I'm setting us up for failure by telling him to get down to his underwear, but I'm okay with that. I'm not going to sleep in my underwear, Lexi, he tells me with one eyebrow raised. Why not? Because that's a recipe for disaster, he states. Disaster. I smirk. You know what I mean, he responds. Well, you won't sleep well in jeans, so how about we both turn around, and I'll get my PJs on, and you can take off your pants and then get into bed, and I won't look, I tell him. You'd think this conversation would be the other way around. Fine, but I'm keeping my shirt on, he remarks. Fine. I agree, but I wish he would take it off. We both turn around, and I get naked and put on a navy blue camisole and navy blue shorts. Are you done? He asks, waiting to be able to turn around. Yup, I agree. I turn around and he does the same. I see his eyes scanning my body, and I do the same to him, even though I told him I wouldn't look. I see the bulge in his boxer briefs and it's big. Lex. Put something else on, he groans. Why? I ask. I can see, too much, he says while biting his lip. Okay, the way he's looking at me turns me on. I would wear this around the house in front of my brother, I remark. Well, that's wildly inappropriate. What's about this? Are you serious? He asks and I nod, wide-eyed. Well, I can see the shape of all your body, he tells me, but I see his eyes land on my chest for a second. I'm guessing the no bra and thin tank top is what he's referring to. Is it just the top that bothers you? I ask, with a smirk. I'm trying to contain how giddy it makes me, knowing that I have this effect on this gorgeous man. It doesn't bother me. It's just, It's distracting, he admits and I smile. Okay, I'll put a different shirt on, or do you just want me to wear a bra? I ask. Either, or both. I turn around, and grab a baggy grey t-shirt, and change my top. Better. I guess. Just get under the blankets, and hide, he chuckles. I do as I'm told, but snuggle close to him. Our legs are intertwined together, my head is on his shoulder, and I put one hand on his hip, and slip my hand under his shirt, and rest my hand on his bare stomach. I feel the definition of his hard stomach, and with all this skin-to-skin contact, I find the sparks are erupting all over my body. He smells and feels so good, and with his body so close to mine, while being in bed under the blankets, I feel like it's so intimate, and I find myself wanting him so much more. Babe, you're not helping me at all right now, he says in his huskier voice. What? Why? I ask. I'm struggling, and then I can smell your arousal, he groans. I'm sorry, my mate arouses me, I whisper, breathing a little bit faster. I should go. I told you this was a bad idea. I really don't want him to go. Don't say that, but why can't we have S***X? I ask him. He groans in pain again. Your brother and you share a wall, and Molly is down the hall. It's not a good idea. Molly is sleeping in her room. If we only ever had S***X when Molly was out of the house, I have a feeling we'd have a pretty scarce life, I respond. Okay, but your brother, at least we know Molly is sleeping, but I don't want your brother to hear us, he explains. I understand that because I would be mortified if he did. He'd call me out on it too. You're right about Lef. I'll move away a little and cool off, and we can talk, and then when we're dead tired, we can snuggle. I promise I'll try harder at containing my thoughts, I admit. He agrees and we spend over 2 hours talking and getting to know each other better. I feel so much closer to him now that I'm learning more and more about him. We spent the whole time talking, laying in bed facing each other, with over a foot between us, but Jack held my hand the whole time, often giving it little kisses. Finally, we were dead tired, and we cuddled up to each other and fell fast asleep. Join our Facebook and WhatsApp group for more updates, link is given in description. Rest audiobook will be continued in next episode.